Welcome to Beck's Berghaus Survivor, tailoring your own Bergens. And because currently I don't have the side rocket pockets for it, I'm going to tailor on 2 mini rocket pockets. I have some leftover webbing here, the 58 on the left and on the right the olive drab, and these have the utility pouches that I want to use to put onto the side of the Bergen, like mini rocket pockets. And there's where you put your steri tabs, the Spanish fasteners on the back, C-clips, might even incorporate the ammo pouches, and because it's matching in the same colour, the knife sheath or the frog bayonet. With this longer back ruck style of Bergen, you wouldn't actually use a webbing because it interferes with the webbing. This is why infantry soldiers like infantry Bergens, as where 4 or 5 commandos of the day would have a Berghaus and wouldn't have the webbing. The utility is going to sit on the side like this. Got a great colour match, it's not a million miles off at all. Up a bit here to just under this zipper, rather than it being in the middle or lower down, about there. And a 90 litre capacity for the main chamber. After removing the pouches from the actual webbing belt, a couple of C-clips and all the webbing I'm going to remove, and I'm only going to sew down one side and then the other, making a hollow that I can slide some kit down the back of. The Spanish fasteners, eventually I'll swap out to quick release, and even this yoke might make for a back piece on the actual Bergen itself. I also have room for the olive double ammo, maybe even the frog bayonet sheath as well somewhere. I want to try and get the stitching underneath this zipper. Once I have an equal spacing, I'm going to draw a straight line down with a pen. And with a slicing motion, I'm going through the stitching ever so gently. There's the corner off, the top off, work the way down the side here. And I'm only going through a stitching, not the pouch. Once you've released, you can see it's coming off really nice and clean. The actual cotton holding this on isn't that tough. It's the way it's stitched that makes it tough. Now the razor's quite pliable, so it fits nicely and bends to conform to the shape it is you're cutting. And I'm only cutting through the actual cotton stitches, not the pouch or even the webbing. You can see I'm working my way along the stitches. You can see how carefully and slowly I'm taking this. Even this section here, same thing. Just run it in line with the stitching. You can see how my razor's already gone right underneath, so I can work left and right. There's that bit removed. And again, lift up the fabric, get the blade parallel, and do get the blade parallel as well. Don't angle it in towards the fabric. It's revealing the stitches, and slice into it just the same way each and every time. Here it comes. I'm under and through. I've exposed the stitches there. Just get the blade and cut through it, or a small knife, or your seam ripper, however you want to do it. All I've done here is taken my nail scissors, which I find the best, and trimmed underneath the stitch work here. Do not go through this stitching that holds the lid on. With a razor blade, took this section out. With the scissors, cut along that webbing strap there. I've got some good salvage with a D-ring, a C-clip, spare webbing, and I'm only going to sew down this one side here and this side here, and hopefully I don't need to go over the top, and certainly won't sew down the bottom, so I can slide things behind the pouch, which I wouldn't be able to do if I kept all this stuff on. I want to take it close to the existing stitch work without going through it, because this is holding the lid on. And I can always get a cigarette lighter for these bits here. Now slice the stitching out there, down the edges, down the bottom, scissor that bit off there. More salvage. And I want to work out an equal distance and where I'm going to stitch. The distance for me on this pack is 1.5 inch on the right and 1.5 on the left. So on the inside of the zip here, I can bring my ruler in, get 1.5 inch marked off here, mark off 1.5 inches lower down, and draw a straight line between that. It's going to be the same on the right hand side. Don't do it freehand, you'll mess up. Okay, let's measure out. Pull the zip away, find 1.5 inch there, line it up a little more that way. Let's see where we are on the other side. There's the mark there, absolutely bang on. Let's put another pen mark lower down on either side. That's given me a line down the right. Introduce the pouch, put it up against that line and follow, so I've got a straight stitch work. And it keeps it absolutely parallel on both sides. The 80 pattern pouch right up to the buttle up here. This is the existing Berghaus holding the pouch. I'll try and hide the stitches by placing the sewing awl just on this edge here, but still I want to keep the stitches small. Twist that in and through, about 3mm apart. I'm going through the utility pouch and the pack at the same time. That is through, and pull back to make a loop on the inside. Reach inside the loop, grab the tail, bring it through that loop. Now as I pull back with the awl, tightens the loop on the inside of the pack. And I've got a new stitch. Rotate so the top of the awl is positioned in the right place. That's as quick as it takes to do one stitch. And get quite speedy at this, but then again I'm taking my time to ensure I'm following that line that I've drawn. 3 mil down and in again. Pull back to form a loop on the inside. I can pull the all the way out because I've got that loop in my hand on the inside of the pack. There's another stitch in. Pull tight. It's done. It's quite simple. Row of stitches each side of the pouch, left, right. And I wanted to leave the back of it hollow to slide things down the back of. It didn't pan out like that. It's just not working. So I will stitch over the top, but not the bottom. I can get my hand in that. It's no need to stitch the bottom. It is awkward, but that's plenty. Let's open it up. So in the event that I haven't got the larger pockets, which would usually contain things like my waterproofs, I have just 2 little pockets where I can even use the side compression band already on the pack, and then put whatever you want in. Just a demonstration. Got a mess tin. Remember, any modifications you do to your pack can easily be reversed. In mine I have my winter quilts from my hammock, the hammock itself, the rain tarp, the pegs, some dry gear as well, and my wet gear. But I really would like the pouches that are dedicated to this pack. So if I don't want the expanse of a much larger side pocket, I can just have something a bit smaller. So even if I don't use these are collapsible. Use the existing strap, flatten it down, now I have access to put on the much larger side rocket pocket once I can find some. Remember, the PLCE Bergen side rocket pockets don't fit the Berghaus because the zips are sewn upside down on the Berghaus, and I have tried putting a pouch on upside down and it still doesn't zip up. I think the actual runner is a different size. I'm still left with the yoke that I can put on the front here, perhaps one yoke from the webbing. This portion here I was thinking on the back should look something like that, enough to get a water filter in or something small. I have no other purpose for this at the moment, so I may as well make the most of it. If you're wondering why I didn't go across the bottom here like a Bergen with these side pouches, doesn't quite fit because Berghaus is a lot narrower than the Bergen, a lot narrower. But it's as easy as that, just a row of stitching left, right. I didn't bother stitching underneath, but I will stitch across the top. Now, I used a sewing awl. I did try with a leathercraft needle. In places it was just too difficult. Learn how to use an awl, get a good one. It'll last you years. There are far more modifications you can do with a sewing awl than you can with a needle.